We now bring you to a special segment on the Dandi Salt March that occurred in March 1930 as part of the Indian independence movement. The march was led by Mahatma Gandhi, who championed nonviolence and civil disobedience. Since the early days of its colonial rule in India, the British had imposed a heavy tax on locally produced salt in order to facilitate its import, paying dividends for the British East India Company, while also bringing significant revenue to the British government. Since salt was an item of daily use, Gandhi believed that the tax could be the rallying point for Indians of various classes and religious groups. The march, which involved producing salt along the route without paying the tax, lasted 23 days and covered almost 400 kilometers. This event significantly changed attitudes toward Indian independence and caused many Indians to join the fight for the first time. Gandhi, along with thousands other Indians, was imprisoned, while hundreds more were beaten by British police forces. Although the Salt March did not result in major concessions from the British, the event has had a significant influence on many activists, including Martin Luther King Jr. in his quest for civil rights in the 1960s. We have here Mr. Durkheim and Mr. Marx, two prominent social theorists, who will weigh in on this event. What do you make of this event? Mr. Durkheim.
Well, as I have thoroughly argued in my book The Division of Labor, human beings are inherently social, as a species. From the dawn of time, we have been part of social groups that for the majority of history were characterized by a commonality in beliefs, values, traditions, and sentiments, and by a uniformity in practices and behavior, and it is from this collective consciousness that flowed harmony and solidarity for the group. Although the modern world is now increasingly characterized by the division of labor, which will be the new source of group solidarity, and let me say that I am most enthusiastic and optimistic for this development, as the path to world peace the East Indians still largely identified as a collectivity of the former kind, and that explains their desire for independence from British society. I say to the Indians, we are approaching an international division of labor. The Indian society may retain its uniqueness as a sub-social group, but it must learn to be enveloped within a larger society that encompasses many smaller societies, such as the British, Indians, Americans, etc. This is an idea that I articulate on page 221 of the Division of Labor in Society. I do not blame Mahatma Gandhi for his outrage at the British rule over his country and for the mistreatment of his peoples. The crux of the matter is not that the British had been in India to integrate the latter into an international division of labor, in which distinct regions specialize in their functions and become embedded in a web of interdependence. The Salt March was simply a symptom of an unfortunate pathological state, in which there is lack of unity in norms among the different functions. An international agency must rise up to remind the different societies of their common solidarity, and to moderate conflicts. The Indians would then no longer need independence. All societies would then be integrated into a healthy and harmonious division of labor.
Thank you, Mr. Durkheim. Mr. Marx, let's hear your thoughts.
My analysis of the Salt March differs in almost every respect. The most critical point of departure is the economy. It is capitalism. The capitalist is driven to make money out of the money that he or she possesses. In the very beginning, before there could be money to make money in the first place, original accumulation had to first take place through the expropriation of the land and of the peasants, through resource extraction from other regions, through enslavement, and through the conquest of other societies. These methods to transform a society from the former mode of production to capitalist mode of production required brute force. Please see page 915 of my book Capital Volume 1 for reference. So this is exactly what the British did to the Indians. Regarding the Salt March, you see that the behavior of the British capitalists and the British state, the conquest and looting of the East Indies, all drove Mahatma Gandhi to initiate the campaign. The salt tax is a means for the capitalists to force the Indians to consume British commodities, and for the state, the ally of the capitalists, to further economically exploit the Indians. I applaud Gandhi's efforts to use the salt tax in order to rally up Indians of all classes. However, taxes are not what is common to the whole working class. What is common to all except the increasing minority of capitalists, is their enslavement as wage laborers. This, I believe, should have been the rallying point for Gandhi. And also, the fundamental rallying point of his movement as a whole should not have been Indians' independence from Britain, but capitalism, which entails the private ownership of the means of production by few individuals, for it is capitalism that fundamentally led to the oppression of Indians by the English.
Well, thank you both for your insights. Annalise, back to you.